Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating question that sits right behind absolutely everything we learn. And that question is simply, why? Think about it. Why do we seek knowledge? And once we finally have it, what are we actually supposed to do with it? Well, that question is the very heartbeat of a concept called axiology. Today, we're going to unpack the purpose and the ethics of knowledge.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with what is axiology? Then, 2, the great debate. 3, the rules of science. 4, the educator's responsibility. And finally, 5, axiology in action. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. What is axiology? The philosophy of purpose and value. So, where does this word even come from? It's a mashup of two Greek words, axios, which means value or worthy, and logos, which means study. You put them together and you get axiology, the branch of philosophy that literally studies the use and the value of knowledge. The philosopher Surya Samantri frames this with a really powerful question. He asks whether the knowledge we acquire actually brings benefit or if it brings harm to human life. You see, axiology doesn't just ask what you know, it looks you right in the eye and demands to know what you're going to do with it.
To put this into perspective, think of philosophy like a giant puzzle. First, you have ontology, which asks the basic question, what is being studied? That's the nature of reality. Next, epistemology steps in and asks, how do we know it? That's your method. But then axiology, our focus today, steps up to ask the ultimate concluding question. So what? What is it used for? As the scholar Bakhtiar notes, axiology proves that knowledge can never, ever truly be separated from moral considerations. You can't just discover something and then completely wash your hands of the consequences.
Moving on to Section 2. The great debate. Is science truly neutral?
Okay, so here's where things get a little spicy. There is a huge dividing line between two totally different worldviews here. On one side, you have the value-free perspective. These folks believe that science, especially the natural sciences, should be 100% objective, just the cold, hard facts with absolutely zero subjective interference. But on the flip side, we have the value-bound perspective. Drawing on thinkers like Chalmers, this view argues that, hey, the entire scientific process is influenced by human culture, values, and interests. From the very second a researcher picks a topic, right down to how they interpret their data, human bias is literally baked into the whole process.
Let's bring this down to earth with a relatable example from language education. Imagine a researcher decides they want to study the effectiveness of digital English learning methods versus old-school conventional textbooks. According to that value-bound perspective we just talked about, this is not a perfectly neutral choice. By just picking this specific topic, the researcher has made a value judgment. They're implicitly saying digital literacy is a priority and tech and education is worth our time. Even their definition of what makes a method effective is going to be shaped by what they value. Science doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? It happens in a society.
Which brings us to Section 3. The rules of science. Keeping knowledge on track with scientific ethics.
According to a framework by Guy, scientific ethics is a set of moral principles that guide academics in their research, their writing, and their teaching. You can kind of think of these scientific ethics as the guardrails of axiology. They are absolutely crucial because they ensure that while we're out there seeking and applying knowledge, we're doing it in a way that respects the truth, respects other people, and actually benefits society.
Let's actually break those guardrails down into 4 key principles and apply them to an everyday context like teaching English. First up is honesty. This means reporting things exactly as they are. For a teacher, that means reporting student grades truthfully. No manipulating the numbers to make the school look better. Second is anti-plagiarism. If you use someone's brilliant linguistic theory, you have to cite it. Give credit where credit's due. Third is informed consent. You literally cannot just use people as data points. If you want to study something sensitive like speaking anxiety, you have to ask the students for permission first. And fourth is social responsibility. The knowledge you share has to benefit society. Teaching a language isn't just about memorizing vocabulary. It's a prime opportunity to teach tolerance. So ethics isn't just a textbook theory, it is a daily roll-up-your-sleeves practice.
Section 4. The educator's responsibility. Beyond the transfer of linguistic facts.
The philosopher Surya Samantri hits the nail on the head here. He emphasizes that educators carry a dual burden, a scientific responsibility and a social one. Think about it. Teaching English isn't just about giving students a skill to pass an exam. It is a bridge for cross-cultural understanding. When an educator stands up in front of a class to teach a global language, they're handing students a tool to cross borders, to empathize with different cultures, and ultimately to foster global peace. That is a massive axiological responsibility. The true value of that knowledge is its power to connect us.
And finally, Section 5, Axiology in Action, the power of grammar in the classroom. Let's look at how this plays out in real life with a super concrete example, positive axiology. Let's take grammar. Pretty neutral, objective rules about how sentences work, right? In a positive axiological scenario, a teacher uses this knowledge to totally empower their students. They use it to help them communicate better, express their ideas clearly, and build rock-solid self-confidence. The knowledge is actively being used as a tool for human growth.
But, and this is a critical difference, consider the dark side of that exact same knowledge. Negative axiology. In this scenario, a teacher uses those identical grammar rules not to build a student up, but to tear them down. They use their superior knowledge to humiliate a kid for making a mistake in front of everyone. Now, the knowledge itself didn't change at all. A verb is still a verb. What changed was the purpose and the ethics of how it was used. It was literally turned into a weapon.
We see this exact same dynamic play out in research, too. Say someone is studying something highly personal, like foreign language speaking anxiety. The axiological imperative here, as Bakhtiar reminds us, demands informed consent and fierce protection of student identities. Why? Because the purpose of gathering that data must be to genuinely improve the learning experience for those kids. It should never, ever be used to embarrass the school or expose a student's vulnerabilities. The end goal absolutely must be the betterment of the human condition.
So, what does this all mean for us? Well, the ultimate takeaway of our explainer today is this. Axiology teaches us that no knowledge is truly separate from the human holding it. The value of what you know is entirely 100% determined by what you do with it. So I want to leave you with one vital question to chew on, whether you're a student, a researcher, an educator, or just a lifelong learner. Are you using your knowledge to empower or to diminish? Thanks for exploring this with me today. Keep asking why and keep making your knowledge count.